Welcome everybody back to week 5 of the 3-Man Rush podcast. We are officially through 4 weeks. Technically, I know it used to be 25% of the season. It's not 25% now. It's like
Not quite.
24.3 something. Who knows? But anyway, welcome back to the 3-Man Rush podcast here. I'm your host, Landon Oliver, here with both of my co-hosts, Andrew Scott and Big Jared Holly. What is up, boys? How's it going?
Oh man, it's going. Week 4 is behind us. Thank God.
Thank God for all of us.
Yeah, I'm still drinking, trying to recover from that Rams 49ers game last night. Even though it went exactly how I knew it would go, it was still painful to watch.
Yeah. There's something about the Rams that make Jimmy Garoppolo look like a viable starting quarterback.
It's
same thing where the Colts make Derrick Henry look like a viable starting running back.
It's not even Jimmy either, man. Fuck, Deebo Samuel he takes it to another level in those games. He really does. I hate that man so much because of what he does to us, but gotta respect it at the same time.
Did you see his Instagram earlier where he fucking
going after Ramsey?
Yeah, he put his nuts on Ramsey.
Yeah, I'm sure that will go over real well the next time these two teams play later this year.
Yeah, well.
I love that though, man. Like it's a legitimate rivalry where these two teams do not like each other, like at all.
Use the Taco Bell gong.
Yeah, like I love it. I think that I think it's great for us anyways, fans. Makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's go ahead. Get into week 5 action. So if you are joining us, if you're new here,
first game too, we're about to rip the Band-Aid off. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So what we do week 5, we preview every game. We go 8 games today. We'll go 8 games tomorrow. We're going to put those out of 2 separate parts just because we don't want to have a podcast that lasts for, I don't know, 2 hours again, like we did that one day. But yeah, we give you the money lines. We give you our, little small, very quick previews. We give you our picks and just a way to help kind of give you the cliff notes on what to expect for week 5. So yeah, that's all it is. And we start with Thursday.
To put it. I think this is the first time you used that one, but that's a pretty good way to summarize what we do.
Hey, those damn college English courses come in handy.
Paying off.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's get in. First game, Thursday Night Football, and the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. And before we get into this, for all the Titans fans out there, I want to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody. Your team still sucks. Team still sucks. I'm not apologizing for shit. Y'all were really bad on Sunday. Y'all were not good on Sunday. But neither were the Colts. So it was like, hey, who wanted to lose this game? Didn't score a point in the second half. You better be.
Didn't have to. That's the worst part of it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You are lucky you are playing a bottom dweller because you play like that shit against any other respectable team, you're getting blown the fuck out. So yeah, y'all can do your happy dances, but y'all aren't good. So just putting that out there. So I'm not apologizing. Suck it. That being said, the Indianapolis Colts did lose again with a 1-2-1 record. The Denver Broncos did lose again. Finally gave the Raiders. I mean, these is, this is a Thursday night matchup, man. You remember looking at this at the beginning of the season, and we're looking at this matchup on Thursday night. We're like, all right, we got some good Thursday night games. Here we are, week 5. These are the 2 lowest scoring offenses in the National Football League. One averages 14 points, one averages 16 points. It's rough. Anyways, if you were curious about the betting lines, if that's kind of what your bag is, baby, Broncos are 3.5 points favorites. It is in Denver at Mile High Stadium. 175 favorites to win and a 43.5 point over under. Like I said, probably going to take the under on that one, considering both these teams barely combined for 30 points a game right now through 5 weeks. I I'll let you guys go first. Jared, you're a Colts fan. Go ahead. Let us hear it.
Well, there's not a whole lot to say. The tight ends had a great game in week 4. I guess that's one positive way to look at it.
Wide receivers looked all right. Alec Pierce fucking balled out, man.
Yeah, Alec Pierce looked good. Jonathan Taylor being hurt is a huge deal. Man, this team they have no identity right now whatsoever.
That's a great way of putting it. That's the
best way to put it. And the Broncos too. Like I mean, they lost Javonte Williams on Sunday.
Melvin Gordon's hurt also. He's got a neck injury.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a short week for both teams.
Mike Boone season. Mike Boone versus Nyheim Hines Thursday night, baby.
Yeah, it's a short week. Key injuries, man. I don't know. Like Russ has not looked overly impressive so far with Denver. Man, yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say. I think at the end of the day, Denver. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say. Like I'm speechless.
Drew,
like I never thought that.
I want to pass it to you because
these two teams are they're both like anemic on offense right now. Like it's really tough to watch. I think both coaching staffs are really bad. It's two really bad teams on a Thursday night. So.
Well, Drew, I do.
Drew, it's up to you, man. Save this segment.
So we have Javonte. We just joked about it. Javonte Williams versus your boy, your favorite Twitter guy, your favorite fantasy football player.
Maybe he'll finally be relevant this week. Probably not.
Hines, I want to give you a layup here. Are you looking forward to Nyheim Hines on Thursday night?
Yeah, I can't wait to watch him be irrelevant for fantasy football yet again. It's gonna be great.
He will tweet about it. He will. He's a Colts player. He will tweet.
Why is Nyheim Hines and Bill Belichick? I don't play fantasy football. Yeah, we don't care. We don't want any of your players on fantasy football either, other than your running backs. Like, why are all these people that are so irrelevant for fantasy speaking up against fantasy? Like,
they're jealous.
You know, like, just leave us alone, man. Which, granted, I know part of it's probably because the ignorant fantasy football players that like to tweet directly at people and shit. Like, you know,
to be fair, it's not even Nyheim Hines' fault because what we really need to be doing is, like most of the season, we need to be blaming this on Frank Reich. Because
I want to know,
what did Frank Reich at the beginning of the season? He said, if I had a fantasy team, I'm drafting Nyheim Hines. And he immediately refuses to use the – you know, Matt Ryan has more rushing attempts than Nyheim Hines does this season.
But, like, it's just –
Why?
Nyheim Hines is only being started in like 10% of leagues right now. So is it just like every single 100% of people across the board that are starting Nyheim Hines have to be tweeting at him for him to be mad enough to feel like he needs to go to Twitter to besmirch fantasy football because there's not even that many people starting the fucking guy. So is it like 100% ratio of people tweeting at him? I don't know. But the one thing I will say about this game though, I actually was probably the most impressed I've been all year with Russell Wilson last week. And it was kind of a weird thing. We're watching the game. I feel like the Broncos really shouldn't have lost that game. Like, I felt like they were the better team. But the unfortunate thing for the Colts is the Broncos' run defense looked very, very beatable last week against the Raiders. And now they're going to be going into this game without Jonathan Taylor. So it's just kind of unfortunate timing there because JT probably would have had a pretty big game in this one.
Well, I hope they're honestly going in this game without Taylor. It's not.
Surely they're not going to play him, right? With how his ankle got
said
landed
there's
on.
A chance. There's still
on a
chance.
short week.
Yeah, I know. I hope he sets out. But
yeah, that would be kind of crazy if they didn't set
this is a coaching staff literally coaching for their job right now. They're probably not looking for long-term health or protecting these players. They're trying to save their own ass right now. So you probably don't want to set the best player on your team if you're trying to save your own ass. But hopefully
they're about to go full Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give a shit how you feeling. You better get out there.
Yeah, they had Darius Leonard out there playing.
He had a great game.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a fully healthy Jonathan Taylor is better than Josh Jacobs. And the Colts offensive line, as bad as it's been, probably still isn't as bad as the Raiders offensive line. So
No, that's not true. Probably not this year. All right. So before I get into this, if you are interested in some film breakdown, I did post on my Twitter account at Landon3MR a full all 22 breakdown with, I guess, probably about 20 videos, possibly upwards of 20 videos breaking down some key plays in the Titans Colts game, where things went wrong, some things that went right, just kind of giving you a little bit of an insight into how the film looked. Weirdly, did not look awful from a Colts perspective. Like, whenever they had to move the ball, they moved the ball. Whenever they needed a big play, Matt Ryan came through. When, like, they're just asking way too much of this guy. Whenever the defense was not put in a terrible situation due to turnovers in their own red zone, the Titans could do nothing. As you know, they didn't, like I said, they didn't score a point in the second half. Whenever the Colts punt the ball on offense, just when they punt, their EPA of their defense so far this season has been 9th overall. Whenever they don't punt and they're put in a bad position, it's 30th. So the turnovers right now are killing this team, and the turnovers are mostly due to the offensive line. So Matt Pryor has been really bad. Quentin Nelson is not playing like a $21 million guard right now. Ryan Kelly has been awful. Their right guard, whether it's Danny Pinter, whether it's Will Fries, whoever they put in there, has been awful. Braden Smith finally kind of had a decent game this week, but he's been bad for the previous few games. Just overall, man, like, this offensive line is the main problem on this team. Jonathan Taylor has no room to run, which is also in some of the film stuff there that I put out. He has no chance. And Matt Ryan has no chance. They're asking their 37-year-old quarterback to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And he's running for his life. He's still making throws. I mean, the guy's still, I think, top 5 in passing yards. Pretty decent completion percentage as well. I think in the second half of this game, he was 15 of 17. I mean, he's getting the ball out whenever they give him time. He's making great plays. Even on the interception, Tier Tart was double teamed by Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly did not pin his left hand down. So he was able, on a double team, this defensive tackle was able to reach up, tip the ball, and disengage from 2 all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber offensive linemen in previous years and get an easy interception. There's nothing Matt Ryan could have done about that. That is all on the offensive line. It's the single biggest issue on this team. On the flip side of that, for the Denver Broncos, it's the offensive line's not really been that bad. What's killing them is, one, their play calling has just been, I don't know if their play calling has been horrendous, or if Russell Wilson, because he does have this issue where he does hold on to the ball and he tries to, I guess, be Mr. Unlimited and take the deep shot and scramble around and do all that stuff. It's killing this offense. There's no efficiency. There's no quick, easy, throws. They're not running the ball particularly well. And even when they are running the ball particularly well, their coach doesn't have the wherewithal to keep the hot hand in the game, aka Javonte Williams. Now he is out. Melvin Gordon's dealing with an injury. The great news for the Broncos is they still have a really great passing defense. They still have really good weapons there. I think their offensive line is better, but yeah, man, like, I don't know. It's both teams are just, these are probably the 2 most disappointing teams in all of football as far as like where preseason hype was for them, because both these teams were hailed as like, hey, the Broncos could win a Super Bowl this year. Hey, the Colts could win this division and make a run this year. Sad thing for the Colts is they probably still could win this division. I mean, like, this division's so bad. They're only 1 game out. Broncos, on the other hand, good chance they're not keeping up with the Chiefs. Good chance nobody in this division's keeping up with the Chiefs. And I mean, it's just been a fall from grace from where the preseason hype was, where the fans had set their standards for both these franchises, to where they're at now. So I'm curious to see which one of these teams is going to actually get out there and perform. To me, it all comes down, for the Colts, it comes down to protection along the offensive line. If they're able to handle simple stunts if they're able to, and I mean, Denver did also lose. It wasn't just Javonte Williams. They did lose Randy Gregory, who's been a menace along that defensive line. That's a huge loss for them. So it's going to come down to whether the Colts can handle easy stunts, if they're able to recognize blitz pickups, if they're able to pass off, defensive linemen and communicate well and work as one unit. And if they're not, they're going to lose this ball game. That's just it. I mean, that's all there is to it. For the Broncos, have some kind of identity here. This whole thing of let Russ cook, it's not working. Like, try to give him easy throws. Try to run the ball. That needs to be your identity right now until you get your passing offense reined in as to what you want to do. Run the football, make easy completions, make easy throws. Don't turn the ball over in the red zone. That's their Achilles heel, is turnovers in the red zone. So for the Colts, block. For the love of God, just fucking block somebody. For the Broncos, don't turn the ball over in the red zone. Whichever one of those teams does either one of those things, that's the team that's going to win on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think if obviously Javonte's out, if Melvin's out too, I don't think they can afford to just hand the rock to Mike Boone 20, 25 times. I think they're going to have to let Russ cook. And if the Russ that showed up against the Raiders this past week shows up again this week, I would much rather have the ball in Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy's hands than I would Mike Boone and Latavius Murray. And so that's where I'm at. If Melvin plays, he should get a healthy dose of work.
I think he probably does play in, if I had to guess.
Yeah, if he plays, I do think they should get him a decent amount of work, assuming he doesn't fumble every other time he touches the ball. But I thought finally Russ looked good last week, and so I'm curious to see that'll be the main thing I'm looking for in this game. Was that did they find something? Did they finally get over that hump? Get the whole not playing the whole preseason, new coach, new scheme, new teammates. Did they finally get over that hump a little bit, or is that just a bad defense that they were playing in the Raiders? So that's kind of what I'm looking for to see if Russ continues to trend up in this game.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and give our picks here. Like I said, the Denver Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. Who you guys got?
I'm going to take Denver.
Big Jared?
Denver at home.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Denver at home. So clean sweep for the Denver Broncos. Let's move on to our very next game, and that is the 3-1 New York Giants, Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic, whatever you want to call him, going off against the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. So this is a London game, I believe, 8:30 a.m. Central Time for us, 9:30 Eastern. Another wonderful day to wake up and immediately have football. Even though Packers are technically the home team, nobody's really a home team, but Packers are 7.5-point favorites and minus 400 to win this game. That is a pretty massive favorite. And right now it seems like they're kind of catching their stride. It's, Romeo Dobbs, who, if you are a listener of the show, all the way back in March, we were talking about him even before the draft going on. He was a guy that I really liked when I highlighted some Carson Strong film. And right now he's playing he's their number one guy. Christian Watson, we'll see. My boy Alan Lazard doing all the right things on that offense. Yeah. Aaron Jones
plays this week too.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he does. He just does things the right way. Aaron Jones, man, has been absolutely phenomenal. He's been a phenomenal running back. Probably right now, I would say the second best running back in the league. I guess you would have Saquon and Nick Chubb. Yeah, you'd have those two. But then after that, man, there's not really anybody playing much better than Aaron Jones is.
Nick Chubb is playing out of this world right now.
Yeah, Nick Chubb's a great running back. So is Saquon, which is another guy that we're going to be watching in this game. So, yeah, man, pretty big favorites here. I know, Drew, you keep calling them frauds. They keep on coming out winning. You sticking with it?
Yeah, they're not playing the Chicago Bears this week, so I feel pretty good about calling them frauds. The Green Bay Packers will expose them. Saquon Barkley is this whole offense, and That's good enough to beat the Bears. It's not going to be good enough to beat the Packers.
Well, fortunately for them, yeah, Aaron. I forgot to mention Daniel Jones is hurt. Tyrod Taylor concussion as well. He's probably not likely to play, so they could be down to a third string quarterback. I know they worked out some guys today. I saw Jake Fromm's name mentioned.
Oh boy,
yeah. So I mean, we could be getting an Aaron Rodgers versus Jake Fromm matchup in this game. Not good, but I will say, man, Daniel Jones has been playing really well. He played really well this last week too. He's playing good football. So
I want to make a comment. So you literally said Saquon's their entire offense. When Daniel Jones got hurt, and then Tyrod got hurt,
he was the
quarterback. He was their entire offense officially, and it just felt good saying it out loud that this guy is their entire offense at that point.
Wildcat, baby.
Yeah, and they lined Daniel Jones at wide receiver too, which was very odd. Like just
just a decoy. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Dude, man, quarterbacks at wide receiver. That's the thing now. I mean, did you not see Zach Wilson score a touchdown?
Yeah, Zach Wilson led the game-winning drive too.
Yeah, he caught a touchdown.
Yeah, so the Packers they squeaked it out this last week, but they didn't look that sharp either against New England. They really and truly were the better team, and they should have won that game easily, especially the situation at hand. No Mac Jones, no Axel Hoyer.
Yeah, say my boy Axel. But hey, WKU alum here with Bailey Zapp.
I didn't even know who the hell that was until Sunday.
He was on our draft thing because I had a hot take for our draft. Everybody said, hey, what's the biggest hot take of draft season? I know Drew and I did one. And one of my biggest hot takes was Bailey Zapp, whatever you want to pronounce his name as, will have a longer career in the NFL than Kenny Pickett will. That was one of my hot takes.
You did say that. Yeah, that's accurate.
He looked good too. He looked good in this game.
Is funny. That's
that
funny.
Damn system, baby. That New England system, it just cranks out them quarterbacks.
Yeah, average quarterback after average quarterback.
Jacoby was lost this week.
He's the first
New England system quarterback. Whooped Drew's team's ass this week.
That's crazy how so far I mean he was the first rookie quarterback. He still is the only rookie quarterback from this last draft to throw a touchdown. And he was the third string quarterback for the New England Patriots.
3-Man Rush podcast. We're on it, baby.
Landon's looking into the future. I don't know what that says about Mac Jones though at the same time, but
I didn't specify if he was going to be a starter or a backup. I just said he'd have a longer career. Let's not get out of hand here.
I got that is what you said, and you did specify that on the hot take part too.
I did. I just said longer career. I didn't say he's going to be a starter. I didn't say if he's going to be a backup. I didn't say anything. I'm just saying longer career. That's a blanket statement. Leave it at that.
The Packers should win this game pretty easily. Should is the key word. And I don't see why they won't, especially if the Giants are as decimated as what they seem to be at the quarterback position. But I will say this. I mean, the Giants are 3-1, and I mean, you play the schedule that's in front of you, and they won 3 out of 4 games. So they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be. I had them at 4 wins at the beginning of the year. They may get 5 or 6 now. So, I mean, that's
they're not a bad team, man. And I will say this, man, both their bookend tackles played really well. Andrew Thomas has been the best left tackle in football to me this year so far. And then
they also have one of the worst receiving corps in football.
They really kind of recovered from what the Cowboys defensive line did to them, especially Evan Neal. Evan Neal had a good game again finally this week after getting absolutely annihilated. That whole offense got annihilated against the Cowboys, which it seems like the Cowboys are doing that. That Cowboys defense is doing that to everybody right now. So
by standings, this is the best division in football right now.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
Yep. Just going off wins and losses, that is a true
Hard
statement.
Based off records, yep.
So everybody but the Commanders. So, yeah. All right, well, let's pick this game. Could be a rough London game for the Big Apple, for me, I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. I think that train keeps rolling. And even more so, I think this could be a good get-right game for that offense, for that offensive line that continues to get healthier week after week. They should take another step forward, hopefully, this week. The running game is great. The wide receivers, they should have a good game as well. But Dory Jackson's played well as well. I think Andrew pointed that out a week or two ago. Dory Jackson's been a nice surprise there for them. Taking the Packers.
I am as well. I don't care who's playing quarterback. The Packers are going to win this game easily.
Same.
All right. Well, now that gives us into the full normal game slate of the week, and that is game number one here for the 1 p.m. Eastern slate, and that is Detroit Lions versus the New England Patriots. The best offense in football, maybe. I don't know. Definitely the worst defense in football. We say that. Going up against the New England Patriots as well, which could be one of the better defenses, but one of the worst offense. So it's, strength on strength, weakness on weakness. Who knows? Mac Jones probably out again this week. Might get another Bailey Zapp start. Let's see. This is a good game. Lions defense scores touchdowns. Patriots are at home, though, and -3 favorites, as long as -167 favorites with a 45.5 over under as well. Patriots are slight favorites. Detroit Lions, man, what is going on here? Jared Goff, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
The weapons are, look at how many guys they were missing this week, weapon wise. No Amon-Ra St. Brown. No DeAndre Swift.
No defense.
No DJ Shark.
Yeah, no DJ Shark. And Jared said no defense, which was absolutely true. They were missing a lot this weekend.
Unfortunately, they're going to be missing that one every week.
Yeah, that one's not getting any better. This is weird. I think, who was it? Dan Orlovsky said if this team even just had a bad defense, they would be 3-1.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
And I'm like, yeah, it's not wrong. Yeah, man, I've been really impressed with what Goff has been doing. That offensive line has been fantastic. The running game's great, no matter who you put back there, whether it's Swift, whether it's Jamal Williams. Wide receivers are doing their job. Josh Reynolds stepping out. Come on.
TJ Hawkinson finally had himself a game.
TJ Hawkinson, which was a guy that we highlighted on our DFS show when me and Jared did it this last week. I said, unfortunately, I did choose Mark Andrews. I said if you didn't go with Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson could be a guy you would look at this week. Definitely should have taken my own advice there. Didn't do myself
popular. I think you made the right
for good reason.
Process over results. We have to think like that.
That's right. So and on the flip side, and like I said, New England, Axel's hurt, Mac Jones hurt. Might get another Bailey Zapp start. I don't know what's made this team. The running backs have played well though. Isaiah Wynn has not been really good this year. It's been rough going for him. Devontae Parker, to Jared's credit, been playing pretty decent football as well. Guy that he kind of highlighted a few weeks ago. And then the defense is playing well. And there is a player I think that we need to put some respect on this defense. You never hear anything about him. You need to put some respect on this guy's name, and that's Dietrich Wise. Every time I watch any type of New England film, anytime I turn on a New England game and the defense is on, Dietrich Wise, number 91 on the New England Patriots defense, just pops. That guy wrecks games. He is a great player. He needs to be on the short list for Pro Bowl voting this year, along that defensive line. Give that guy his flowers because he's balling out, man. He's balling out. So be curious to see him go up against this Lions offensive line, man. It should be a fun. That's probably not going to be my favorite matchup to watch in this whole game. Whenever I turn this on, so I'm probably going to be watching Dietrich Wise going up against the left side of that Lions offensive line.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this game because I want to pick the Patriots because the Lions defense is so bad, but then the Patriots offense is so bad and the Lions offense is so good. So it's like I can't make sense of this game one way or the other. I really can't. The Patriots, I mean, they're going to have to continue to get carried by their running backs. The Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris are the only reason that they were in that game against Green Bay in the first place. And it's going to have to be more of the same this week. I think I'm no Bill Belichick, but it seems like the game plan is to just try to run the ball as much as heavenly possible and try to keep Detroit's offense on the sidelines as much as you can this game. I think that's the only way they really have a shot. So if I can figure that out, I'm sure Bill Belichick can figure that one out. But I don't know how to figure this game out. If Mac Jones was playing, it'd be a little bit easier.
Because he's good.
He's good enough to expose this Detroit Lions defense. Yeah, I will at least give him that much credit.
Look, Bailey Zappe's good enough to expose this Detroit Lions defense.
Yeah, you and I might be, but so this is a weird one, man. It is. This is a really weird game. But it's like I want to give the edge to the Patriots because of Bill Belichick, but then it's like, man, they got like MCDC's over there on the other sideline, and I
know, like this, man. Like you hate the Patriots, you love Motor City Dan Campbell,
right? Exactly. It's like my heart tells me like
go with your
the
heart.
Lions are winning this game. Like even Jared Goff, like I'm still happy to see that man playing well. Like I never thought he was the quarterback of the future for the Rams, but if you put him behind a good offensive line and you surround him with playmakers, he is an NFL caliber quarterback and he can make winning plays, assuming you give him a clean pocket and allow him to do so. And the Lions are doing that and then some. So, like, I mean, they've set him up as good as you possibly can set up a quarterback. So, I'm happy to see him playing well, and I think it continues this week.
This is my next game I've got on my breakdown list. So, like I said, I did the Colts one today. Took me roughly 5 hours to get through that game just because. So the all-22 film generally, I mean, it was actually kind of a quick game. It was only about an hour long. It took me 5 hours to get through between rewinding, rewatching, cutting, pasting, all that kind of bullshit that goes along with film reviews. But yeah, it took me a while, but I wanted to make sure that was my next game was the Seattle Lions game because I didn't really get to see a lot of it. Even though it was on red zone, it seemed like every other play because there was a touchdown. I don't know if I showed you guys. I think I sent it in the group today. The game, the box score breakdown of like the drives. Did you guys see that one?
There was one punt.
Yeah. So from start to finish, these were the drives from each team: touchdown, punt, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, fumble. Touchdown, interception, punt, missed field goal. So we had some bad offense there. So there was an interception, a punt, and this was after halftime. So third quarter starts, interception, touchdown, missed field goal, and then from here on out we had touchdown, field goal, touchdown, end of game. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There were 11 touchdowns.
One of the punts was fumbled on the recovery too, and they got him back. So they basically bombed a Hail Mary down the field.
Yeah, crazy game.
Yeah, that game was on crack.
I'm excited to watch that one.
Yeah, but so this one's I don't think this one will be quite as exciting. As most things with the Patriots.
No, gosh, yes, the Patriots are so boring.
But I do still like I do think it'll be a close game though.
Let's go, baby.
And I still
Motor City Dan Campbell.
I can't decide which way to go, but you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm taking the Lions.
You know what? I'm going with the Lions too, baby. This is the statement game finally. Motor City
statement game.
Yeah, MCDC is probably yelled at every member of that defensive staff and screamed at them. Aaron Glenn right now is probably like, I'd say he's on a hot seat almost more than any coach in football right now, which is unfortunate because I really like Aaron Glenn. I do think he's a good.
Yeah, I just don't think they have the personnel on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do think he is a good coordinator. But yeah, man, it's rough. That being said, yeah, I'm taking MCDC, man. Go Lions. Let's do this. My preseason
goal. Give up 33 points, but score 37. It's a clean sweep. The Detroit Lions. If the New England Patriots score 33 points, though, this is the worst
defense. It's the worst defense ever. Yeah. If Bailey Zappi leads them, and in all honesty, I kind of hope he does, just because I like the kid. And I went to WKU, but yeah, man, it's if he leads this, if he outscores the Lions offense, something's wrong here. So yeah, we're going to. I don't know if we did touch on.
Is Jared Goff QB3 in fantasy right now?
QB5, I think. Was it 3 or? I know going into this game he was QB5.
Well,
he only went up. He put up like 45 fantasy points.
Yeah, he was QB1 this week.
Here, I'll tell you, I got him right here. Yeah, it still says he's the quarterback 5 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if on this scoring, I don't know if week 4 has gotten put into that yet. So might have to check back in tomorrow once waivers run and stuff. I think that's when Sleeper reflects their rankings. But
Jared, you haven't picked this game yet.
Oh, I said the Lions.
Yeah, he clean
sweeped it. Okay, clean sweep.
37-33. Bill Belichick scored a touchdown.
They can't let a Matt Patricia offense look good. There's no way.
No,
all right, let's get on to our next game here, and got the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Cleveland Browns, coming off of a loss. Both teams here. Yeah, man, that's just a weird.
I saw a Browns fan on Twitter victory lap the fact that they were in first place. They were 2-2, tied for first place with like 2 other teams, and just got beat by the Atlanta Falcons. I was like, this is a really weird thing to victory lap right here. Whenever you just got beat by Atlanta,
the Falcons,
and you're in a tie for first place at 2-2. But and he quote tweeted me and said, "Still in first place."
I mean, you're not coming off this victory. You're not going on his parade.
You're not wrong. That's what he said. He said, "Still in first place, Mr. Negative Nancy." I mean, he's not wrong. They are still in first place.
You got to take it where you can get it.
To be excited about it, but I think that Browns fan and the rest of Browns fans are going to be in for a little bit of a rude awakening here. If the Falcons was a tough matchup, it's certainly like that was supposed to be the easy part of the Browns schedule, where the Browns were like, hey, we got some pretty easy games without Deshaun Watson. And now they get the Los Angeles Chargers. So, which the Chargers did still try to charger their game last week away against Houston. They tried to do what they tend to do.
Well, we'll say they do have the Los Angeles Chargers, but they have I believe they have the practice squad of the Los Angeles Chargers.
That's
also,
true.
Big shout out as well to the LA Chargers. The I believe 5th or 6th round rookie tackle came out and played for them. Did not allow a single pressure against Jerry Hughes. Jerry Hughes was 3rd in pressure percentage and pass rush win rate going into this game. Guy comes on, rookie, 5th. I can't remember if he's a 5th or 6th rounder, but regardless, either way, late round pick. Not even supposed to. Most people are like, I don't even know if this guy's make the team. Comes out in replace of Rashawn Slater, who is on IR, and balls out, man. Has a fantastic game. 41 pass blocking snaps, 0 pressures allowed.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, impressive stuff there. So yeah, man. If you did not know, Browns are at home, but Chargers are favored by -3 here, -154 on the money line, which means just to kind of put into perspective, because I know we haven't done this one in a while, but you bet $10, you'll win $16.50 around there on a -154. Whereas if you bet the Browns at +120, the bet $10, you'll win $22. Over under is 47.5. This is going to be a dog fight of a game. Strength against strength. Cleveland loves to run the ball. Chargers have a really good defense. I know they're missing Joey Bosa, but Derwin James is still healthy. Linebackers are playing well.
He looked really good this past week. That's one guy that Derwin James balled out in that game against Houston, which surprise. Pretty much anytime he's on the field and healthy, that's what he's going to do. But it was nice to see, with all the injuries and stuff he's had to deal with. It was nice to see a vintage Derwin James game last week.
Yeah. Another guy that balled out though on the opposite end, I do want to shout out to JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Awesome game this week. But yeah, I did. I did pick the Browns to lose this game last week, or the Atlanta game last week. The Atlanta Falcons did win by default, so I do want to toot my own horn on that. Congratulations, Atlanta. Thanks for making me look smart, even though I'm literally picking against the Browns every single week. So that has nothing to do with what happened, though.
Well, you're 500 then.
Yeah, exactly.
But you should take a victory lap for that.
To answer your question,
the Colts were
Jared,
500.
Keenan Allen is still considered day to day. Apparently was on track to play in week 4, suffered a setback late last week to where he wasn't able to play last week. So I don't. It seems like they're just taking their time with Keenan. And so
they should. Those injuries, yeah, it's a hamstring, right? It was a hamstring injury.
Yeah, it's a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
so
those don't get better in season, but they only get worse.
Right,
older wide receiver at that too.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he missed this game as well. But Mike Williams and Gerald Everett have looked really good for this passing offense. They have been more than enough to get the job done.
At least this week.
Yeah, last week. So it should be. And I mean that was 2 weeks straight of really good production for both of those guys. So I think it could be more of the same here against Cleveland. And then Austin Eckler was back to the Austin Eckler that we all know and love. So the only thing I hope for the Chargers in this game is that nobody gets hurt. It's like these guys, man. I don't know how this happens every single year, but it's every year. It's just guys dropping all over the field. I mean, nobody deals with injuries like this franchise does. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but I'm sure Nick Chubb's going to chug out another good game. That's just what he does. But I like the Chargers in this one. A loss over the Falcons isn't exactly gonna spark much confidence in the Browns for me. So we'll go with the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers. The injuries have just piled up is my only concern. And Houston made that thing a game when it really was out of reach. Like they started storming back. Davis Mills was going over top and Brandon Cooks. And the one thing that scares me about this Chargers team, and it harps back from last year too, they give up a ton of yards to running backs. Well, they're not just playing a running back this week. Damian Pierce went crazy on them last week.
A huge run.
Yeah, and Nick Chubb is like he's the best running back in football right now. So, man,
it's crazy how that statement usually coincides with which team has the best offensive line.
Right. And for that reason,
what team run blocks the best? That running back is the best.
So maybe Saquon Barkley is actually the best running back in football. With
what he's doing with what he's got, he's
definitely. What I'm saying is because I believe Nick Chubb is, I think, what is he like first in yards? What is it like yards? What's the metric you would say like yards before contact? Yeah, like he's getting the most yards before he's even getting touched right now. Which I mean, Nick Chubb's awesome. Like he's so good. He's such a good running back, but. Yeah, it's crazy. That's totally has nothing to do with Jonathan Taylor, by the way. I did not make that statement just to make Jonathan Taylor look better, because his offensive line's been atrocious and he can't go. He's getting hit 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I definitely didn't bring that up.
Yeah, I figured that wasn't the angle you were going for at all.
I just wanted to clear. I wanted to make sure you knew what I was doing there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have assumed anything like that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but no, Chubb has been great. Brissett's been okay. Like I mean, he's been better than I gave him credit for at the start of the season. I thought that the Browns were just completely screwed. Now, I mean. Again, it worries me whenever I think Marcus Mariota completed like 7 passes in that game against Cleveland, and Cleveland still couldn't find a way to pull that game out. So that's a little concerning, man. But hey, at least they're in first place. But that I think that also will be NFL, not for long. and I think the Chargers are going to remind the Browns what quality of team they are, considering at least some Browns fans are still in a little bit of a delusional space here with the first place chance.
Yeah, this game worries me though. I want to go with the Browns. I think that they're going to bounce back from a loss, and I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Nick Chubb. They're going to try to control the clock at home, and I think at the end of the day, man, I think they'll make one play to turn Herbert over, and they'll win this game. I got Cleveland.
Interesting. Not much suspense with who Landon's going to pick here.
You're what?
I said there's not much suspense with who Landon's going to pick here.
No.
Even
if I wasn't doing what I was going to do, I'd still probably pick the Chargers just because I think Justin Herbert's better than Jacoby Brissett. And as well as Jacoby Brissett has been playing, I mean, I've seen this story multiple times now. It eventually it comes back to earth. So, yeah, Justin Herbert, gold Chargers. That's what we're doing.
It pains me to pick the Browns, but I just see them winning this game. I have the damn Chargers win the Super Bowl, and they're so beat up that.
I mean, to be fair, Deshaun Watson and the Browns did beat Chargers, my bad, earlier this offseason. So that's got that. My bad. I got that screwed up. They did already.
Just missing one letter there, but I like where you're going with that.
I love it.
So let's get into our next game here going on. Just a few more left. And Houston Texans versus the Jaguars. Weirdly, both these teams, man, like the Jaguars kind of fell back to earth, but yeah, I know, like, because Houston plays hard, like they do. They play really hard, which I guess, like, when you're a bad football team, is really
that's all you got.
That's all you got, man. You just, like, unfortunately, like the Colts, for example, they're a bad football team.
If you're not a good football,
they don't play hard.
If you're not a good football team and you're not a scrappy football team, I mean, what are you? What do you got?
Andrew, what's the phrase?
What the fuck are we doing?
What are we doing? All right, so now let's get in here to this over under. Unfortunately, we do have to cover some of it if I can find it. Goodness gracious, man, they've got this thing hidden in here.
I'm guessing 44.
44 and a half.
Oh my God, I gamble a lot.
But Jaguars are -7 on the point spread. This is in Duval County this week. And Jaguars are -333 favorites to win. Texans are +240 underdogs. Yeah, pretty big favorites there for Duval. What do we got here? I want to see how the Jaguars respond to hopefully the weather's a lot better. We'll see what happens with that, but
I think Trevor Lawrence also hopes that the weather is better. That man could not hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if he had Kenny Pickett hands or I don't know what was going on there, but it was rough for him. And I mean, look, the Eagles secondary is just absolutely ridiculous. Zay Jones was out as well, so he was down. His wide receiver 2 in this game, and
they couldn't run the ball or nothing either.
No, they couldn't run, which I mean, it's a sloppy game, but
it was
the Eagles. The Eagles are just too good. I want to see now how they respond because this is a big step for a young team here. Whenever
it's a division game, man. Those are tricky.
Well, it's a division game. You're coming off a loss. You've heard for the last couple of weeks, how great you are. Basically, everybody's been on the Jaguars now. Hey, the Jaguars are a good team. They're up and coming. They're the favorites to win this division, blah, blah, blah. When you're a young team like this, you can somehow get into the trap of buying into that. Luckily, I think Doug Peterson's not the type of coach to let that happen. So I want to see how this young team, they've heard all the positive stuff. Then they come off a, pretty, tough loss there for them in Philadelphia. Now I want to see how they respond. And it's a division game. It's the perfect opportunity to say, like, hey, bad week last week. We're not going away. This is who we are. Let's play some fucking football. Houston Texans, on the other hand, like I said, it's a team they do not go quietly into that dark night, I believe is what the saying is. Do not go quietly. They don't go quietly, man. Like that's a team that no matter how many points they're down, they somehow still find their way in it at the end of the game. And so, yeah, this is going to be a fun game. To me, unfortunately, man, I think the Jaguars are just too good. I think the defensive line for the Jaguars is fantastic. The weapon, I mean, Jaguars are just a better football team, man. Like Houston's clearly rebuilding. They know where they're going, and they're playing hard, but playing hard only gets you so far. Eventually, you got to play hard and you got to have the talent. So we'll see how this goes. But anything you guys want to talk about in this game, Big Jared? Look like you got something to say.
No, I think Jacksonville's going to win. I am a little bit disappointed with Davis Mills this season. I kind of thought he would be better in what he's played. Like he's struggled quite a bit first 4 weeks of the season. Outside of that, Houston's scrappy. They'll hang in there. But I think Jacksonville, like having Doug Peterson as their head coach, he'll have them ready for this week, and they should win this game pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jacksonville wins the game. I think it'll be a bounce back game for them, and hopefully a step in the right direction to where they show they're not the same old Jaguars. But I think, as we've mentioned several times over the last 4 weeks, a big reason for that is because of the coaching staff not letting them fall in those same old traps and actually having accountability, which is something that Urban Meyer has no idea what that sounds like unless you're his kicker. So. I think Jacksonville takes this one as well.
Yeah, taking the Jags. Oh, Urban, man, just Jesus Christ. All right, so now we get on to the Atlanta Falcons going down to Tampa, another game in the swamp of Florida, taking on newly divorce lawyer hired Tom Brady. I don't know what's going on there.
No way.
This man
is that really a thing, or is that?
Yes, that is really a thing. Him and his wife have hired divorce attorneys.
Wow, football causes divorce.
The guy literally stayed home for like 2 weeks and was like, "Nope,
fuck this."
I saw something. It was like a tweet earlier, which I know it's not real, but it was it's kind of funny. And I hate to joke about this kind of stuff because it's really none of our business. But in Tom Brady's bio, it said like football and family. And then somebody like put it next, like side by side next to it. It just said football. I was like, damn.
Was there an asterisk beside family?
Man. But yeah, hopefully everything's good with him, man. Like I said, I feel like I say this every week. He just does not look like he wants to be there. I don't know what is going on. They've been begging to lose now for the last few weeks. Me and Jared both agreed on that.
They lost.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't have to
beg this week. No. That game was not as close as the final score made it look.
No.
And that was even with he had some weapons back and all that kind of stuff, and it just still, man, this offense just looks anemic. It looks bad. Tom Brady looks bad. Not
Mike
because
Evans
I don't.
looks great.
Yeah, Mike Evans is awesome. Mike Evans is an awesome receiver. There was actually some discourse going on this week on the old Bird app about whether Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame player. And
I mean, he's 1,000 yards guaranteed every season.
And double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I think
Super Bowl champion. Yeah, Hall of Fame.
He's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that was a heated debate. I missed that one.
It was, yes, it was. It was a debate, and it was between like him and somebody else too. Somebody else had asked like, "Hey, who would you rather have?" Because they both came out in the same draft, if you remember. Odell Beckham Jr. or Mike Evans. Yeah, it was Odell or Mike Evans. And I was like, is anybody saying Odell? Like, is that even a thing? Like, it's clearly Mike Evans here, correct? Like, I'm not crazy.
No,
if you really think about it, I mean, as far as like mainstream media, sports, and everything, Mike Evans is kind of underrated compared to some.
He absolutely is.
Yeah,
because we're having to have these conversations just shows that he's underrated.
Yeah.
Mike Evans.
And all he does is produce.
Yeah, Mike Evans. I don't know if he's first ballot, but he's a Hall of Fame player. Well, anyway, speaking of Hall of Fame, this money line for the Buccaneers is a Hall of Fame money line. It's minus 400 favorites to win. Falcons are plus 280 underdogs. The point spread is Buccaneers 8.5. So pretty big point spread here. Over unders 48.5. Drew, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I guess this should go to both of you guys. What the fuck is wrong with Kyle Pitts? What is happening? It's every week.
Marcus Mariota and Arthur Smith is what's wrong with Kyle Pitts. I mean,
he was lined up as running back last week.
Yeah, and he was lined up as a runner. I was like, what in the fuck is this?
Marcus Mariota had 7 completions this past week. 7. In an entire professional football game, he had 7 completions, and they fucking won. Arthur Smith left that game like, I am a genius. And granted, it's bad news for Atlanta this week because they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more than 7. You know, Marcus Mariota is going to have to complete a lot more than 7 passes if he wants to keep up with Tampa Bay.
About 7 passes.
Yeah, a little bit more than 7.
7.
So yeah, I think the Atlanta Falcons defense is no Kansas City Chiefs defense, and Mariota is going to have to do a whole lot more than that to squeak out a win, similar to how he did against Cleveland. So could be good news for Kyle Pitts owners, though, because if you have to throw the ball more opportunities, hopefully Kyle Pitts gets some targets because his
Zacchaeus, baby.
His target share numbers and his target share numbers, his yards per route run, like all of the metrics for Pitts specifically still look like an elite talent. He's just not getting they're not scheming him downfield, which makes no sense to me. Like to have a unicorn of a player like that and not trying to find ways, which maybe they don't have faith in Mariota to get it to him downfield. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to get better, but I don't think it's going to get a whole lot better because you're still going to have the same scheme, and you're like, unless they make the switch to Desmond Ridder, that's the underlying hope of the unknown, where even that might not be better. Like, we don't know. I know that I've been high on Ridder, and I personally think it would be better. The reality is he's a rookie. We don't know if it would be any better, but that's the only underlying hope that we can have for this Atlanta offense is eventually they make the switch to Ridder, and then Ridder ends up being good. That's it. It's either like it's that, or it's just status quo with what we've seen. Like, it's not going to be any drastic change this year. So, I mean, Kyle Pitts, to answer your question, there's nothing wrong with Kyle Pitts. It's just the things around him is the problem. But hopefully this game we see an uptick in pass attempts for Atlanta, and we can at least see the ball get in his hands a little bit more. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is no Cleveland Browns offense. So I don't like Atlanta's chances this week.
No. So to put in perspective, my week 4 DFS lineups, I had Amari Cooper and I had Drake London, both of them combined for 3 catches. That was my week. And in Tampa Bay this year too has been stingy in the passing game. I know they got burned against Kansas City, but that's Kansas City. So I don't like anybody for Atlanta this week. Cordell Patterson's on the IR, if I read that correctly. He's hurt. He is. So I mean, that's even more of a wrinkle in their offense. Man, this is going back to we thought they were a bad team at the beginning of the year. Like they're like lost Cordell Patterson for a while. So Tampa's going to win this game. I would take more than 8 points even.
If your season hinges on the fact that Cordell Patterson is on IR, you'll probably have some work to do on your roster.
Cordell Patterson's played great the last 2 years. Though. He's played good this
year. Which makes it more frustrating that Andrew said is like you can unlock Cordell Patterson but you can't figure out how to use Kyle Pitts. It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think I think Atlanta should follow suit with what Pittsburgh did this week, and I think they should give Desmond Ridder a shot. Like again, what the
3-man
fuck?
rush, quarterback
What,
one, Desmond Ridder.
what the fuck are we doing, man? What like? Why are we rolling out 7 completion Marcus Mariota still? Like he's not your franchise quarterback. He's like what
Well,
are we learning?
I think to be fair though, like to me, and this is just strictly like me, the way I would handle rookie quarterbacks like this. Like if you're clearly in a bad spot now, if you're in a spot where it's the number 1 overall pick, then yeah, like that dude's starting. But with this, you have a younger rookie taken in the 3rd round. Your roster's bad. You don't want him to lose confidence before he even gets started. That's a guy that maybe I take like kind of the Mahomes route with, where it's like maybe I start him for the last couple games of the season to get his feet wet and see what we have. Then we can kind of ramp things up in the offseason for him to take over for Mariota. But I mean, you don't want to put him out there too early, and then either he gets crushed, he looks bad, it ruins his confidence. I mean, it's a bad team too. I mean, like
you need to know that. Like that I would somewhat agree with your thought process if it was a higher draft pedigree quarterback. Like I'm almost the opposite of you. If it is a higher draft pedigree quarterback and this just isn't your year and you want to let him set and go the Mahomes route, I think that's fine because you envision that guy is the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like you're still starting him.
But where they got Ridder at in the draft, that doesn't scream franchise quarterback either, and he still might be. But it's not like with Ridder and with guys that are drafted in the 3rd, 4th round on a bad team. I think you need to give those guys as many snaps as possible to see if he is the guy because this team's going to be picking.
But I think you need to let them develop
at the top of the draft, though. Like they are going to be in the quarterback hunt in this upcoming draft. And
so that's what I'm saying. So you start them the last few, like you start them the last couple of weeks and see what you have.
You want to base your entire
well, you're not basing your entire
around Desmond Ridder on 2 games.
Well, I mean, you're not basing it all on just the 2 games. I mean, but you have the off season, you have practice, you have preseason, you have
that stuff can only tell you so much, man. Nothing can tell you what live, real, regular season games can tell you.
Yeah, so
like I just need to get him in the game, man.
I mean,
but they're going to be in the
what worries me,
they're going to have to make that decision.
That's why but see, like that line of thing, that's why talented quarterbacks or young quarterbacks fail is they get put in a bad situation and they get asked to do too much right out of the gate. This like the Desmond Ridder you're going to see this year, or you're going to see for those 2 games, or the guy you're going to see in week 5. He's not going to be the same guy you would see next year or the year after that. You need to let these guys set, develop, learn what it's like to be an NFL player before you throw them out there with a bad roster against real life grown men. Because I know like we're older and stuff, but like, I mean, Desmond Ridder's a kid. Like he's a kid, like 22, 23 years old. He's a kid. These are grown men trying to hurt you. Let's just take it slow. Let's let the guys get comfortable.
I'm not saying I disagree with what you're saying.
I don't want to set the kid up for failure. And that's what that does.
that I disagree with what you're saying. It's just the reality of how the quarterback position is treated now. Not saying that's right.
Yeah, and that's but that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. That's the way it's treated now.
The reality
nobody has patience anymore.
Nobody's patient with these kids. This is one of the worst rosters in the league, and they're going to be at the top of the draft in what is expected to be a loaded quarterback draft class. And so they need to be able to figure out, do we have the answer on our roster already? Look,
you either believe in the guy or you don't. I mean,
you're not going to know one way or the other if he's just sitting on the
sideline.
I
mean, look, man, these guys are in the bill. I know, like for us fans, it's kind of easy to say that because you're sitting there. It's like, well, like you only see him, a couple times or a couple games or stuff like that. This guy's in that building every single day. Like when you're around somebody, but whenever you're around somebody, so are you around somebody every single day at work for an entire year? you'll know if they're going to be good at their job or not. The key is, are you setting them up to be the best at their job, or are you setting them up to perform the worst? You'll know if they're going to be able to do the job.
I don't agree with that. I don't think you can compare a backup quarterback to an office job. Like
Well, I'm not saying like an. Well, I mean, really, just any job, not to be an office job. But I mean, like you're able to know, like these guys are in there working
the job if they're
on a
sitting
daily
on the bench.
basis. They're in there working on a daily basis. The coaching staff clearly believed in him enough to draft him. Like I said, you throw him out there too early, he gets injured. He's on a bad roster. He loses. He throws 6 picks in 2 games or whatever. His confidence is shot. It's hard to bounce back from that, man. And
I felt like he was the most pro-ready quarterback of this draft class. If there is a quarterback in this draft class that is,
I think Kenny Pickett was more pro-ready. I do think Pickett, but I don't think Pickett was as good.
That's the point I want to make and why I would put Desmond Ridder in at this point. Same scenario just happened this week with Pittsburgh.
One's a first round 15th overall pick.
Did you know Kenny Pickett threw 3 interceptions and they lost?
And not a single one of those interceptions was his fault.
Not only that, their offense
one of the passes that got tipped was pretty high. Like the pass that he got, it was a high pass that got tipped. Like it did get tipped, but that wasn't a catchable ball. No, that wasn't a catchable ball.
But they didn't look anemic, man. And I think that's you knew what at this point.
Mobile quarterback Kenny Pickett put
2 touchdowns rushing.
Yeah, he put a spark plug.
The crowd got back into it, and at the end of the day, I understand. Like it's you got to walk before you run, but at the same time, man,
well, that's what I'm saying though. There's a reason that there's a reason he went in the teens in the first round, and Desmond Ridder went in the 3rd round.
And if you're making that comparison, though, then he shouldn't even touch the field at all. Then, at any point this season,
I don't necessarily disagree that he doesn't. I mean, I think he needs to touch the field because like Andrew said, getting those live bullets and those they are valuable. My whole concern is putting them out there too early. It's week 5. I mean, come on, it's week 5. Give the kid some time. You're clearly not going anywhere if you're in Atlanta.
He's going to learn that much behind Marcus Mariota. I don't. I think he can learn just as.
But it's more than just Mariota. I do think Mariota is
Mariota's a good mentor, but
that's what I'm saying.
Standing on the sideline watching him play quarterback, you're not going to learn that.
But that's not why he's there. That's not why he's there to watch him play quarterback. He's there. Marcus Mariota is there to teach him how to be a professional.
And he can do that shit as the backup.
How to handle a locker room. Yes.
He could do all that intangible
it's very similar. Well, I mean, very similar to the way they've handled Trey Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo last year, with the way they handled Trey Lance, and that team was a lot. Yeah, I had no problem with it. I thought it was very smart.
The kid already had to sit out damn near a whole year because of how COVID was set up with where he had to play. He didn't need more time on the sidelines. He needed game reps. These guys, I don't. The one thing, the more than
but if you throw them in there too, if you throw them in there too early and they fail,
with what the Steelers did, I hate that even more. What you had time to game plan, and they just at halftime they were like, "Fuck it, we're going with Kenny Pickett." Why not just make that decision before the game?
Yeah, I agree. Which we pointed out this last week. We all 3 pointed this out last week.
That's the one that I hate. I agree.
Give
him time to get reps as a starter. Why are you throwing him in there at halftime of a game that he didn't plan on being a starter for?
I think you always go.
Trubisky's been bad, and it's not like it's a secret that Marcus Mariota has been bad. Why are we pulling these guys at halftime? That's the one that I don't get. But it's just I don't. Maybe it's because I watched too much of the Falcons and Browns game, and I'm just irritated. But I've seen enough Marcus Mariota.
I don't know, man. I think it's just different. I do agree, with other positions and stuff like that, I can kind of see it. With quarterbacks, it's different though, because you're wanting to know, it's the most single important position on your team, the face of your franchise, the guy that you expect to lead your team to the promised land. You throw them in there too early. They get hit, they don't look good.
I would expect Ritter to not look great at the beginning, but
so why shatter his confidence?
Because look, if having one bad game your rookie season shatters his confidence, he's not the guy either.
Like, well, no, I agree with that, but like, why even take
the NFL? Don't have one bad rookie game and then like, fuck, my career is out.
Week 5. It's week 5. Just let him learn.
But it's not a sure thing that Desmond Ritter's their guy, and so like he might be bad. He might be bad at the beginning, but if you start him in week 5, if you start him in week 6, you have a window of time to see, does he progress? Does he learn on the job? Does he get better as he goes? I'm not expecting him to come out and set the world on fire at the very beginning, but if you start him in week 16, you don't get to see him learn from his mistakes and have like a window of time to get better.
The most success we've seen out of young quarterbacks have come whenever they have time to digest what the NFL life is like. They have time to set back.
I don't know, man. Josh Allen did pretty good learning on the job. He had a bad rookie year, but he learned on the job. He worked through his mistakes. And
you're literally talking about the single most, I guess, like that's the worst possible evaluation for like improvement that anybody could ever use, because it's never happened before. That's literally the only guy that has went from the worst quarterback to the best quarterback within a couple years. Like, he's not even the same player. Like, it's completely different. And like, I do agree to the fact that like you do have quarterbacks coming in these days where you're throwing like Justin Herbert, but I mean, like, that's what I'm saying is like, we're talking about Josh Allen's 7th overall pick. You're not setting that guy. Justin Herbert, what did he go? Like 5th or 6th or something, like 5th overall. Like, you're not setting those guys. But whenever you have
Mahomes is like 10th overall, and he's set for damn near a year.
Yeah, like the best thing he could have done too. The best thing that they could have done for him.
And Alex Smith is much better than Marcus Mariota,
and Mahomes will tell you that too. That was
because he got to learn from Andy Reid and Alex Smith. Desmond Ritter's learning from Arthur Smith and Marcus Mariota. Like, these aren't equal scenarios.
Well, then look, I'm just saying, if you don't believe in those guys as a franchise, as a general manager, if you don't believe, like, we as fans, that's fine. But if you don't believe in Arthur Smith being able to develop your young quarterback, or Marcus Mariota to help transition him into the NFL, then why, like you like to say, like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why would you hire him? Why would you hire him?
I feel like I need to make a Falcons
if you don't believe they're the guys to run your franchise, then why do they even have a job right now?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey,
I don't care. Put Ritter in, man. Yep. Put him in.
put him in, coach.
Put him in, coach. You're gonna win. Put Booby in.
You know how I am about quarterbacks, man. I'm overly protective. I don't want to see anybody fail. Especially Desmond Ritter, because we've spent way too much time on this podcast talking about how good he is.
And that's why I want him in, because I believe in that fucking guy. He's got that
I believe
dog
in it too, but he's
not
ready. He's not ready.
He can come out and have a couple bad games. It's not going to shatter his confidence. The dude is ready. He is.
No, mature. I believe. Yes, I love his mental makeup. Yes, yeah, I love his. That's one of the things we love the most about him. He's not ready to read an NFL defense. He's just
he's not going to be any worse than Marcus Mariota.
He might,
and that's the whole point. I'm sick and tired. I'm fatigued. I'm beat up. Like, I don't want to watch Marcus Mariota.
All right, let's get into the rookie quarterback that is starting this week. That's Kenny Pickett going up against his first start. It's against the Buffalo Bills. Once again. Setting this guy up to fail just right out the gate.
This I don't like.
Yeah. So this is, hey, at least they're giving him a full week of game planning now.
That's true.
I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with him. Those 3 interceptions, I will take it to the grave because I watched it. They were not on him. They were not on him. Also, I believe, what was it? Like,
he did not have Calvin Johnson out there trying to catch that ball. One of those balls was on him. That was a high ball. Unless you had Calvin Johnson, that's not a catchable pass.
You asked your 6'5" wide receiver to make a play over a 5'9" cornerback.
You know,
and it turned into an interception.
Whenever you finish the sentence with 6'5" Chase Claypool, that's a different sentence now.
Yeah,
you know,
see? Yeah, but I will say he made that throw to Deontay Johnson, by the way, in the back of the end zone. That was a fucking touchdown. That was disgusting. That was a disgusting throw. Awesome for the kid. I like Kenny Pickett a lot. Wish the best for him. This is a tough game, man. This is a tough game. He's getting put behind a bad offensive line. It's one of the best. I did a shiver
running at you in your first full start.
Jesus Christ, man. Not only that, but now you got to throw the ball against that. Like their secondary still played really well. As much injuries as they have, like they're good. Matt Milano is awesome.
For me.
Like Edmonds is a good linebacker.
How about Jordan Poyer?
Jordan, man, so good.
How about that dude, man? He's so good.
He's a great player, man.
Interception.
Yeah, he hit 2 of them.
Nope. Yeah, great player, man. Completely different player than what he was whenever he was with Cleveland, by the way. Completely different player. Like he was not bad, but he was just kind of like a replacement level safety. That guy got to Buffalo and he
getting away from the Cleveland Browns seems like it's about like getting away from Adam Gase.
I saw an article today. Gosh, I'll have to find the account. I'll send it to you. But they were doing like the butterfly effect, and it said how the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand led to the hiring of Adam Gase by the Jets. And I'm like, and I was just like, what the fuck did I just read? And I read it, dude. It was just like galaxy brain stuff. It was a hilarious article. I'll have to send it to you, and I will make sure if I find it, I will retweet it on my profile as well. So anybody listening, if you want to read it, it'll be up on the 3-Man Rush podcast, and it'll be up on ours. It's hilarious article as well. So, but yeah, man, this is rough sledding for Kenny Pickett here. I do like the kid, made some impressive throws. Really love the use of his legs too. He is a mobile guy. He's a guy that could get out.
That's something that they're going to need with that offensive line.
Yes, he will more than likely be running for his life. I'll worry about this because one of my big worries about him was like his ability to extend plays, but he does kind of seem to not know when to just take the loss, and unfortunately for him with Von Miller coming at your blind side, you're not really going to have enough time to sense, when you need to take the loss and when you don't.
No, Vaughn kind of just lets you know.
Yeah. He'll let you know that you've lost, just straight up.
Yeah.
So yeah, this could be tough. The good news is they do have good weapons there. Freiermuth is good. I think this could be a big plus for Freiermuth. As we always say, a rookie quarterback's best friend is your tight end.
And Pat's a good one.
Yeah, he's a very good tight end as well. Claypool, good receiver, big target, guy that he can, supposed to be able to throw the jump ball to. He's going to win those more often than not, but you can't give up something like that to a 5'9" cornerback, bro. Come on, you're better than that. Deontay Johnson, I still think one of the single most underrated wide receivers in all of football.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous play.
He's really good.
On top of that, he does have Najee. So, Najee's a great pass catcher out of the backfield as well. He can take those dump offs, make something of them, try to get him out in space to where he's just not running into a literal brick wall up the middle of the field. That's just, I don't understand running halfback dive with Najee Harris when you have that. I just don't understand it. But yeah, man, there's offense outside of the offensive line, which I don't think it's like the worst offensive line in football, but it's not a good one. And this Bills front, man, they're tough. Like, it's just a tough matchup. On top of that, for the Steelers defense as well, you got Josh Allen on the other end, MVP candidate. Seemed like he's just kind of like doing it all right now for that offense. Gabe Davis has kind of no-showed recently after the
injuries too.
Yeah, he's been kind of hurt.
He didn't look fully healthy.
Nah. So hopefully another week of that. Dawson Knox finally kind of got a little bit more involved. Stephon Diggs is just ridiculous.
Stephon Diggs, yeah, I don't know how anybody could possibly question his greatness. The thing for me that's been most surprising, and I'll be the first to say I was wrong about him, has been Devin Singletary. I've been really impressed by Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
I counted him out before the season, and then they drafted James Cook. I was really
Yeah.
ready to just write him off.
All it took was for them to draft a second round running back before they were like, oh yeah, Devin Singletary.
He balled out late last year too.
He did, and I was almost ready to buy in.
Great playoff performance.
Yeah,
I was almost ready to buy in, and then they drafted James Cook in the second round, and I was like, okay, like if what he did at the end of last season wasn't enough,
Zach Moss was a third rounder, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Which I was that guy stinks. That's an opinion I've had from back whenever they drafted him in the third round.
He's also a guy. He's battling injuries.
Yeah, and battling talent, and there's a lot of battles going on there for Zach Moss. But I've been really impressed by Singletary. That was a guy I was ready to write off, and I thought the Bills had to. But they're using him. His snap percentages are up, and he's making the most of the opportunities he's getting. And it's something that this offense is kind of needed with not they kind of assumed that Gabe Davis was going to step up, and he's been battling injuries. And Jamison Crowder's hurt now. I think Isaiah McKenzie's banged up. I mean, like they need guys to step up, and Devin Singletary's done it. So you got to give credit where credit's due. I think that he's
now they just actually utilize. Yeah, after they actually utilize running the football a little bit more, because I think
he's been in the passing game a lot more this season too.
Yeah, that's the part that's impressed me more than anything is his involvement in the passing game and how good he's looked. Like it's not just a volume thing. Like ball in his hands, he looks good. And Josh Allen, man, I mean, it's not a secret that he's good, but it's just his ability to keep the offense on the field. It's just there's no such thing as giving up on third down with this guy. Like there's not every third down is a third and manageable for Josh Allen. Like the dude is just so good. He's so tough to defend. Good luck figuring out how the fuck to get him off the field. Like the Bills had no business beating the Ravens last week. But Josh Allen didn't give a shit about any of that. He just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming.
And that offensive line's banged up right now bad. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's so impressive. He was so impressive.
I didn't think their offensive line was that great going into the season.
That's why it's so hard for me whenever people say this guy's the next Josh Allen, or, well, hey, Josh Allen did it's the single greatest leap of.
It's an anomaly for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because it's never happened before. He's one of one. That has never what Josh Allen was his first 2 years compared to what Josh Allen is, over the last, previous 2 and then this year. It's never happened. And I have a very hard time thinking that it will ever happen again. Just because it's it's so crazy to watch. It was wild to watch Josh, because I wasn't even I didn't dislike him coming out of the draft, but I was not big on him. And they picked him where he went, and I was like, man, it's kind of a reach. And then the first couple of years, it was
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, and which I didn't like really much of any. I hated Josh Rosen in that class.
I did too.
Unfortunately, I did like Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold was quarterback 1 for me in that class. Luckily, Lamar was quarterback 2, so he made things a little bit better.
I did like Lamar. I did like Lamar in that class.
I had Baker quarterback 3.
Another guy that
Josh Allen quarterback.
Lamar
4.
Jackson, I believe he sat as well his first year.
Most of it, yeah.
Started the last game of the season?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Joe Flacco is still.
I mean, there's
but Joe Flacco.
There are success stories success stories for both. Like we're talking about quarterbacks set behind Joe Flacco and Alex Smith versus quarterbacks that are sitting behind Marcus Mariota. It's just not.
The quarterbacks that sat, those are 2 MVP winners right there.
Well, up until this year, Marcus Mariota was sitting behind Derek Carr for how many seasons?
Ryan Tannehill sat behind Marcus Mariota. attributes a lot of learning to Marcus Mariota, by the way. If you listen to him talk, listen to Ryan Tannehill's comments.
Ryan Tannehill.
I don't trash on Ryan. I mean, I trash on the Titans, but I believe I actually gave Ryan Tannehill mad props last week before the game. So
you did.
You did. 1 week.
One shining moment.
Hey, look, Ryan Tannehill takes off that ugly ass blue color. I'll be right there with him. I think he gets scapegoated a lot. Which, to be fair, his playoff performances, he kind of deserves in the playoffs. Those no escaping that for sure. But I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all.
So we got the Bills.
Yeah, I think everybody's got the Bills.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Bills in this one.
Yeah, we'll smash in Buffalo for sure. So, all right, and that gets us into our last matchup. I know we said, hey, this is going to be a 2-hour podcast, but
hey, and they won't. Just an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't lie. Now let's get into our Week 5 last matchup: the Miami Dolphins versus the goddamn Jets. Let me see if I can pull this one up here. They've got all these hidden. All right,
Miami,
so Dolphins.
Miami 3-point favorites, 41.5.
Miami 3.5 point favorites. 43.5.
Well done, Jared.
Okay.
Well done.
Yeah, Dolphins minus 175 favorites to win. Jets are plus 135 underdogs. And this could be another interesting match as well. Obviously, Tua is rolled out. He is not starting. Zach Wilson
Tua not being there is what makes this interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Jets, man, I don't think they've looked bad. The Jets have not looked like a bad team. Zach Wilson.
He had a horrible first half and a phenomenal second half.
Well, I saw a comment about Zach Wilson. I'll see. Y'all talk about this because I think this is really relevant because this is kind of how I view Zach Wilson as well. And it was really funny to read. So go ahead, talk about this match. And
I mean, I like what the Jets are doing. Their offensive line still concerns me a little bit, especially considering the draft capital they put in it over the last few years. I would expect the Jets' offensive line to be a little bit better than it's been through 4 weeks this year. But they're finally kind of coming off of the rookie treatment on Breece Hall a little bit. They're finally stopping the nonsense of giving Michael Carter more snaps than Breece Hall. They're letting the more talented players step onto the field, which is nice to see. Breece Hall's taking over the backfield. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis has looked really good. Like Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore are the shiny young receivers, but Corey Davis deserves a lot of credit. He looks really good. And Zach Wilson has really liked throwing to Corey Davis. So I don't think it's much of a surprise that all of a sudden he had a good game last week. But I like the offensive side. And then, I mean, props to the Jets secondary, man. They did, regardless of how you think the picks happen, like the Jets secondary was one of, if not the worst.
Hey, has your boy allowed a touchdown yet?
I don't know. I don't know if he has or not. Because I know he
hasn't.
He didn't? Okay. I knew one game earlier this year he got picked on quite a bit. So I didn't know if any of those went.
No, hasn't allowed a touchdown.
He also has a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I have.
Did you see the swagger and just the fucking testicle fortitude he showed whenever he matched up against Jamar Chase a couple weeks ago?
Played well.
Did you happen? Yeah, he did. He played really well, but he was in Jamar's head, and like Jamar was like trying to get into it with him, was like pointing at him, he was swatting his hand away and shit. Like I love Sauce Gardner so much. He's
gonna be a Sherman guy.
Yeah, he's everything I want in a cornerback, man.
Yeah.
I'll fucking
that's why you're a big Ramsey fan.
and Ramsey was one of those guys that
Ramsey's one of those guys.
I used to hate Jalen Ramsey playing against him, but like that's how you know that somebody is a good player. Like
so
whenever you don't want to play.
This is the perfect Zach Wilson analogy that I did see earlier today. Somebody said Zach Wilson wows people with behind the back shots in beer pong when he gets the ball back after missing, but he constantly misses the initial shot. And they said it's really sick when it happens, but you can't consistently win games that way. And that's like the perfect Zach Wilson analogy for me. He's a guy that,
it's pretty good.
which he did actually do a pretty decent job here in the second half, like Jared said, of kind of taking what they were giving him. But
he did a great job.
He can make some of the most wow throws of any quarterback in football. Like that's never been his problem. He can make any throw on the field, running to his left, 50 yards on a dime. Like he can do it. He can make some of those Aaron Rodgers-esque throws. Even kind of looks a little similar to Rodgers while he's doing it. But whenever you ask him to stay in the pocket, read a defense, make the correct read, and deliver the ball accurately and on time, he struggles. And it's hard to consistently win football with just wow plays, because even as like Patrick Mahomes is a perfect example, even for the wow plays he makes, like, he does, a 360 spin off a defender, throwing it with his left hand. I mean, just stupid throw. I mean, like, and I mean that in a good way. It's not a stupid throw, but I mean, like,
it's a stupid
the slang. It's awesome throw, awesome play. But what makes Mahomes difference is he can do that, but he will set back in the pocket and he will pick you apart up and down that field. He will, if you're going to give him 5 yards, he's taking 5 yards. You're giving him 10 yards, he's taking 10 yards. And whenever he has to make a play, then he can go make a play. Whereas Zach Wilson, it just seems like you give him 5 yards, he's going to try to take 20. And it's just, eventually you got to sit back, which he's young. That's not saying, that's what the guy's always going to end up being. He's clearly just in his second year. We'll see what happens. The Jets do have some weapons, to surround him with and stuff like that. Their offensive line's pretty rough, but this Jets team isn't a bad team, man. They've really improved which we really liked their offseason as well. I think they're a few offensive line pieces away, some more quarterback development away from being a really good roster. So
shout out to Quentin Williams too, man. That dude has been
balled out, man, ridiculous. Yeah, that guy's been awesome, absolutely awesome this year. I'm actually going to take the Jets in this game. I'm going to take the Jets in this game.
I am too.
Same. I think it's the breakout game for Breece Hall.
We had on this show, we had a clean sweep for the Detroit Lions and the New York fucking Jets.
We did for the Jaguars too, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the Jaguars.
Jaguars are not a bad team anymore, though.
Yeah. They've kind of. I think they've.
Yeah, but it's still the Jaguars.
But it is still the Jaguars, though. Like they have picked first in back-to-back. Was it back-to-back drafts?
Yeah.
Back-to-back.
Yeah. So I mean, it is still the Jaguars.
Jaguars, the Lions, and the Jets. Where Chicago Bears went away from just going off the rails on this show.
Yeah, no, I'm not that fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They're 2-2.
Didn't they win this week?
They sure did.
No,
they lost. They
got beat by the Giants.
They won.
It was a fraud off, and the bigger fraud showed themselves in that game.
Yeah, you want to know what not to do for a quarterback? Look at what Chicago's done.
Yeah, you should probably.
Didn't it make you sick on Sunday Night Football seeing Matt Nagy talking to Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, and like just thinking like what Matt Nagy has done to the Bears organization,
what he was supposed to be,
and now he's like coaching Andy Reid offense with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, he came from Kansas City, so
I know.
I mean, that's yeah. I mean, look, man. Some guys are just better position coaches than they are head coaches. I mean, that's just, that's what it is. Matt Nagy's just a really good, quality control quarterback coach. I mean, maybe he's just that guy whereas whenever he has to run the ship, it clearly just doesn't work well.
Yeah, you're not that guy, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunday Night Football's funny to me, too, because Jason Garrett's on there. So I got to see Matt Nagy and Jason Garrett on the same, show.
Like literally just missing Adam Gase. It was just bad football.
He needs to be a sideline reporter, Adam Gase.
Take over the Booger McFarlane role.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Booger McFarlane role too, man. It's just like, hey, Booger, what do you think of this game there? And he's like, well, man, I'll tell you, if the offense just kind of gets into the end zone there and they score a touchdown, they're probably going to lead the game.
I got to tell you,
Yeah,
man.
it's like, man, like that.
I really think whatever team scores more points is going to come away with the win.
It's
on
like
this one.
the John Madden thing. It's just like John, what is your take on that play? And he's like, well, you see, he goes into the end zone and crosses the touchdown, and then boom, and that's what it's all about. and you just like all he did was literally describe like what a touchdown was. He's like, he crosses the goal plate, and that's a touchdown. And I'm like, thanks for the analysis, John Madden.
Yeah,
John Madden loved Brett Favre so much.
He fucking loved Brett Favre.
It's like Magic Johnson on Twitter.
You just see everyone Brett Favre, and you see this guy. Just like, man, like that guy loved Brett Favre. Unfortunately, poor people do not love Brett Favre right now.
Or the world doesn't like Brett Favre.
Man, nobody likes Brett Favre. That's crazy. Him and Antonio Brown are going to be like the greatest prison league team of all time.
Oh man, yeah, Longy Short ain't got shit on those guys,
bro. Yeah, yeah. You give me Adam Sandler. You give me Adam Sandler and Nelly versus Brett Favre and fucking Antonio Brown.
I'm just like, if there's a fucking after party at the pool, I'm not going. Like, fuck that, man. I don't want to play Marco Polo.
My favorite thing about that movie was how many wrestlers were on the guards team. Like, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, you had Kevin Nash, Bill Goldberg, I think, was on that team.
Yeah, Goldberg was on there. Yeah,
yeah. Wasn't Khali?
Yeah, Khali. Yeah, he was on the offense though. He was the prisoners. The other.
Yeah.
I had to hear Stone Cold.
That's a great movie.
I heard Stone Cold say the N word, and I was just like, "Oh no!" Awesome.
Yeah, I hated that.
I didn't like that. Kevin Nash having boobs.
That was Kevin Nash is hilarious, bro. He's so funny. That movie's so good. We'll see how it plays out, man.
I can't wait to see the real life version.
Never, they say never meet your heroes for sure.
It's wild too, man, because I've literally, which granted, I don't watch a whole lot of like TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I've heard so much less on TV about that than I ever heard about Jameis Winston stealing some crab legs. Like I never fucking heard people shut up about Jameis, college student Jameis taking some crab legs. People never fucking shut up about that. But like Brett Favre, whenever like the first time I saw something on the internet about people being mad about Brett Favre, I didn't even know why.
I was like, what did Brett Favre? Did he send another dick pic? Like,
I had to dig in and figure it out. And it's like, man, like, could you imagine what it would be like if Jameis Winston would have stole all that shit?
Bro, can you imagine what it would be like if Colin Kaepernick did that?
Oh,
Terrell Owens.
Damn.
Terrell Owens, somebody like who basically couldn't even hardly get into the Hall of Fame with the career he had, but Brett Favre is immortal.
Again, it's not hard to connect the dots on this one of what the problem is and what the common denominator of all this stuff is. And
crazy.
Until that shit's fixed, we can't stop bringing it up.
No, it is. Yeah. We're not gonna stop. End of the day, though, that clears our show. We appreciate all the love you guys have given us, especially on Twitter, man. Twitter's been popping off here recently. It's been a lot of fun. Get on there, check it out. Follow all three of us and follow us at 3 Man Rush Podcast. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I should have said that at the beginning of the episode, but I was just too hyped to get ready to talk football. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, let us know, how you view these games playing out, some of the matchups you're looking forward to watching. And if you're curious about some more all 22 breakdown, if it's something that, if it gets enough traction as much as my Colts one did, I might start doing, 2 or 3 games a week and put them on the actual Twitter account, some all 22 threads, breaking down some matchups. So, let us know if that's something you guys are interested in. Excited for the episode tomorrow. And then of course, now we will have a full staff for the Friday DFS live stream starting at 9:30 Eastern or Central Time, 10:30 Eastern Time. So get ready for that. Hopefully we're going to have a lot better of a week, but do you guys have any closing statements or no? All good. All right. Yeah. Start this.
Play chalk.
Don't ruin them.
DFS. Yeah. Just play. If they're 30% owned, just like jam them in your lineup.
Detroit Lions this week.
Yeah. Just play the Lions every week.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you tomorrow.